What do you do when your contract ends and you find yourself unemployed in Paris? Hey guys, welcome. And if you're new here, I'm Tiff. I'm an American living in Paris, and I'm here to help you navigate living abroad, as well as share some of the life lessons that I've learned during my time in Paris. So I just wanted to jump on here really quickly, just to break down, what do you do when your contract ends in Paris and you have to file for unemployment? I found myself in this situation not too long ago, so wanted to give you guys the tools and resources for you to be able to file for unemployment should you find yourself in this situation. So I was working in Paris for about 1.5 years, and you can check out this video where I go into more detail about the contract that I was on, along with what it was like to work in Paris. But when my contract was coming to an end, I had no idea what to do. I did not have a lot of resources to tell me how to file for unemployment, or even if I could. I was so confused around, one, if I could even stay in the country, given that my visa was linked to my job. Two, my visa was actually expiring not too long after my contract end date, and I had no idea if I could get that visa renewed. And then three, because I was an expat living abroad, could I even file for unemployment? Was I even eligible? So I really wanted to make this video for you guys should you find yourself in this situation. Unfortunately, the company that I was working for really did not have a lot of answers to these questions. So I had to do a lot of digging, a lot of research, and also had to just talk to people who had kind of gone through a similar situation. And it's really scary, when you find yourself in this situation and you have no idea what to do. So I hope that in this video, I can save you a lot of stress and time and just give you the tools that you need to file for unemployment in Paris. The first question that I want to address is if you can stay in France past your contract end date, and if you can renew your visa if you find yourself unemployed. And the experience that I have had is yes, you can. You absolutely can. And honestly, when my contract was ending, I was hearing all of these stories about foreigners who were unemployed and would have to pack up everything right when their contract ended and leave the country because their visa was tied to their job. And that was what was giving me the most anxiety out of everything, is just hearing these stories of other people who had gone through this situation and are not working for them. And for me, I was like, there's gotta be an option, there's gotta be a way, and there absolutely is. So if you find yourself in a position where your fixed term contract is coming to an end, which was the case for me, or if unfortunately you are let go from a company, let go from your CDI, just know that even if you are a foreigner, you are able to renew your visa. And you're able to do this through French administration, so the PREFECTURE, by showing them that you have filed for unemployment through EMPLOI, which is the French unemployment agency out here, and show that you are able to receive benefits through EMPLOI. And I'll break down exactly how you do this a little bit later in the video. Now, keep in mind that the visa that I have and that I'm in the process of renewing is a titre de séjour salarié. So it's a version of the passeport talent. So I know that this works for this type of visa. Unfortunately, I can't say for all types of visas because I haven't had that experience, but I do know it works for the type of visa that I'm currently on. And also keep in mind that if you quit your job, I am not sure that you can still receive unemployment benefits. I'm pretty sure that it's only if your contract is coming to an end or if a company lets you go. So in order to file for unemployment, there are specific documents that you absolutely need to receive on or before the last day of your contract. And if I'm not mistaken, it's actually French law that you receive these documents on your last day. So the first is the Certificat de Travail, which is basically an official document that states that you had worked for the company, for how long, and what you did for the company. And then there's also an Attestation de Pôle emploi, which is basically a summary of all of your earnings, as well as stating that you worked for the company. And this is super important for Pôle emploi when you register with them. And then also there's another document, and I don't want to mess this up. It's called Reçu pour solde de tout compte. And it's basically a summary of everything that the company owes you on your last day. So vacation days that you hadn't taken that they need to pay you for, any premiums or bonuses, as well as your last paycheck. So these are the 3 documents that you absolutely need in order to file for unemployment. And I'm telling you, do not, and I repeat, do not let your company give you the runaround around and tell you that these documents may not be ready on time, that they'll send them to you after your contract. Do not, because I'm telling you, it just makes the process a lot more harder than it needs to be. It's a lot easier if you have all of these documents on your last day per French law in order to have a smooth process in filing for unemployment. And if you already have a specific end date for your contract, which was the case with me, you can even ask HR like a month in advance to kind of start this process, just so by the time your contract does end, you have everything that you need. So step number 2 is to file for unemployment through EMPLOI. So it's a very easy process that's done online, but you have to make sure that you do not file too early. So you can only file for unemployment once you are officially unemployed. So it has to be the day after your contract end date. And it's a pretty simple application. You just put in your previous work experience, your salary requirements, what you're looking for in a job next, all of that good stuff. So once this application is completed, in about a week, you'll receive something called an avis de situation de Pôle emploi. And this is basically a document that states exactly how long you're eligible to receive unemployment benefits for and how much you're able to receive as well. And typically in France, you're able to receive unemployment benefits for the amount of time that you've worked in the country. So for me, I was working in Paris for 1.5 years. So technically I'm eligible to receive benefits for 1.5 years. So keep in mind that I do believe the cutoff is 2 years. So even if you were working in Paris for 5 years, I think with unemployment, they will only give you up to 2 years of benefits. And in regards to how much you're able to receive, it's typically around 70 to 80% of your salary that you'd be receiving every month through unemployment. And then you'll also be given a meeting date to meet with a Pôle emploi counselor to help you finish this process. And honestly, during this meeting, I learned so much about French unemployment. They offer so many trainings. I'm actually even able to receive French lessons through Pôle emploi, which is pretty nice. I do think that they have a lot of great benefits for those who find themselves without a job. And in regards to the documents that you need to bring to this meeting with Pôle emploi, I would bring all 3 of those documents that I shared with you earlier, along with your visa, passport, copy of your work contract, housing proof, basically anything that you would typically share with French administration. I would just bring to this meeting just to have everything on hand. And also, if you have them, a printout of all of your pay stubs, just to be safe. Sometimes you don't always know what they're gonna ask for, so you'd rather be safe than sorry. So step number 3 is to meet with the prefecture, so French administration. So after you filed for unemployment, have received that document, the avis de situation de Pôle emploi, you then need to meet with the prefecture to renew your visa. And if you're an expat living out here, you already know that it can take quite a while for the prefecture to give you an appointment. So the best advice I could give you is to reach out to the prefecture when you know your contract is ending, or when you have an idea of when you'll receive this avis de situation de Pôle emploi, just to kind of speed the process. And when you set up your appointment with the prefecture, they will of course give you a list of documents that you need to bring. But for me, I had to bring that avis de situation de Pôle emploi, which is that document that tells you exactly how long you can receive benefits for and how much, because this is what they'll base the extension of your visa on. So for example, I'm eligible to receive benefits for 1.5 years, so my visa will then be extended for 1.5 years. So super important for you to bring that document with you. And then I also brought, a copy of my passport, copy of my visa, proof of housing. I think you also need to bring like 3 photocopies of yourself for them to put on your new visa. But again, they'll give you a list of everything that you need to bring. That's kind of just what I had to bring for mine. Also make sure to bring those 3 documents that I mentioned earlier. I always bring more than I need to, just to be safe, because I feel like with French administration, you just have to be on it when it comes to what they ask for. So bring everything. Bring everything that you think you might need, and then they'll kind of sort through and pick out what they need in order to renew your visa. And as everything in France, when it comes to admin, it is a slow process. Once you have that appointment with the prefecture, they'll usually give you something called a récépissé, which is a document that you receive in the interim before your visa is ready that allows you to still stay in France, because your visa typically does take around 2 months for them to issue. So just keep that in mind. But this has been the process for me. And I really did just want to share all of this information with you in hopes to remove remove any stress about, you thinking you might have to leave the country when your contract ends, or that you can't stay in France if you are unemployed and still looking for work. It's absolutely possible. I'm living proof of it. It's definitely worked out for me, and I just really wanted to give you guys the tools if you find yourself in this situation, because like I said before, it can be super scary when you find yourself unemployed and you have no idea what to do. So I hope that this information was helpful for you guys. Thanks again for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe if you thought this information was valuable for you. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.